Hey everybody! I hope you all had a good weekend. I did. I had a wedding to go to this weekend, so it was fun. One of my buddies' childhood friends got married, so it was nice. Not a whole lot going on in crypto, price action wise. There's a couple things going on in the charts that I was talking about earlier this week, and well, I'll run over there on the Bitcoin dominance and then Litecoin. So you have our weekly close. Nothing really special on this candle. It's a indecision candle. So pretty much price doesn't know where it's going to go. If you look at the weekly, you haven't really closed down here yet, but you do have. It really needs to bounce this week, I would say. You might be able to draw this down to these wicks here, but you still pretty much need to bounce from here. What I don't want to see is a close here and then a reject, and then next week a rejection here, because then if you have a big rejection here, you're probably going to end up back at some level of support, which is about 71,000. Okay. When BTC goes down, alts go down as well. I don't think there's a time where BTC fell and then alts didn't go down. So it's always crypto always gets to a decision point where it's just like, here's my cards, or I'm placing a bet this direction or the other. And the chart kind of tells you what's going to happen before it happens, right? So we're still kind of in this zone. So we need to bounce even on the 3-day over the next couple of days. No matter how you draw this trend line, I mean that's a pretty important trend line. It's been since September. It's not the bull market trend line. Bull market trend line is down here. But we're getting to that point. The good thing is how BTC dominance closed. So that's a pretty good sign there. And we'll look at that in just a few minutes. You still do have that daily divergence here, and it hasn't played out yet, so hopefully what I would expect to see is a bounce at least back to 105,000. Okay, you do have a cross down, which is not good, but you could come down and then bounce. Okay, so that's the short term. What is the monthly? I'll see the 2-week here. 2-week just closed also. Yeah, nothing really special on the two week. You still have an indecision candle. If BTC bounces from here, I think the altcoins would run really, really hard because of the Bitcoin dominance. If BTC falls here, everything can fall pretty low, and then I think a lot of the money that left BTC would enter altcoins. Okay, pushing altcoins significantly higher, so they would get bought up really quick if that drop happens. Okay, so let's look at the BTC dominance chart. Oh yeah, I mean this can I'm kind of glad we're looking at this 2-week. So this is a gravestone doji, which is one of the most bearish candles you could see, especially at some kind of resistance level like this. 2-week candle is a really, really bad sign for Bitcoin dominance. Let's see if we've ever had something like that before. It's kind of like this one right here, except this is a much stronger rejection. So this is a hammer candle, right? So it pushes the price down. And you had a bearish engulfing candle here, which pushes the price down. So that's really what you want to see there. 1 week. Yeah, so the 1 week closed also. This is what we were hoping for, right? So the Bitcoin dominance closed a bearish engulfing candle, which it would have been nicer if that was a little bit bigger, but it's fine. Not a whole bunch of buy pressure here. So basically this first candle is telling you there's a major sell-off, right? And then you have this hammer, and then another major sell-off, which closed the candle past this point. So this next candle should, or at least the trend should have reversed, right? Could you come back up here and retest this level? Yeah. You could probably look at like a 3-day and kind of find out where we're most likely to come up to. So like this level here, which we've already touched that, or maybe this level here and then reverse from that area. So maybe around, I mean, I think the max would probably be 61.5, or maybe come back up to here. But the trend really should reverse at this point based on all of those candles. Now we're still kind of stuck in limbo because of what BTC is going to do. Now Bitcoin dominance can still go down and the alts not rise if BTC falls. And that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen. But wherever it ends up, it would push the alts up later. There's not really a good way to know that. Okay, so LTC was the one I talked about. Whenever it comes to a weekly. So this is similar to that Gravestone Doji, except this is a this is actually a well, I don't know if that's a hammer or a Gravestone Doji. Either way, they're still pretty bullish. The smaller the head of this candle is considered more of a doji. So you have that, and then you have this other 1 week bullish engulfing candle. Okay, that's what we were hoping for. I was really hoping it would close above like 139 here, just because it would be more bullish. But this is still, because if it popped up here, it would probably only come down to retest about 133, but it didn't, so it could come down back down to retest, 110 or so. But the trend should reverse at this point for LTC and then start running here. Now if BTC dumps, it's going to mess up a lot of this stuff. This could, it could wick down lower, but if BTC stays healthy, this should actually run. And I think it would run pretty hard. Weekly hasn't crossed yet. If we get a green candle, you'd get a cross on the bottom, which would be a very good sign for LTC. So like if you see over here you got a cross and then things started running up, pretty much anytime you get a cross to the upside on a weekly, it's a pretty good sign. If we look at the 2 week, yeah, you even crossed to the upside on the 2 week with a bullish candle, so that looks good too. Okay, so there were a couple things that I posted in the group. Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, was talking about meeting, Elon Musk and Trump at the beginning of next month, and potentially meeting those two at the beginning of next month. He mentioned something about the treasury being put on a ledger, and then AI on top of that to configure the transactions or whatever. The let me see what he said here. Audit layer. Trust blockchain is an audit layer for the U.S. Treasury. It would be tremendously valuable with AI on top to look for waste, fraud, and abuse. Structured the right way, audible, transparent with an AI system. Okay, so humans move towards conveniency, right? So whatever is more convenient and saves time, companies move towards that if they can save money and time to maximize shareholder wealth. That is what every business focuses on. Okay, so if you had 100,000 employees auditing all these different companies, you could pay them $50,000 to $100,000 a year, and that's a ridiculous amount of money. You could just put these transactions on a blockchain and then have some sort of AI auditing them, right? And then it would spit out where those problems existed. And it would just save a whole lot of time to be able to do that instead of paying those 100,000 employees that salary, because then you would only need maybe 1,000 employees or something. I'm just shooting out numbers, but that's an example of how humans will eventually move to a system like that for probably a lot of different things. So yeah, that's another use case there, and a future use case for blockchains. So Cardano is probably, I mean, it's probably one of the major ones, okay? So if he is actually going to talk to Trump and Elon, that's kind of a big deal, okay? Speaking of ADA, let's take a look at how that closed this week. Yeah, another bullish candle here. That's still in this flag, at least on the 2-week. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, I mean, that's, I would still count that as, I would just put the flag here on a 2-week. So based on this, as long as we break out of this and close, you should see up to about $4 for ADA before some kind of pullback. I guess you'd probably see a mini pullbacks until then, but probably, I mean, that's your minimum target for ADA. So what is that if you bought today? About 425%. I just want to look at something really fast. Okay. I was kind of taking that cup and handle target of that. But I like this better. Okay, 2-week. Haven't crossed on the stochastic yet. How did the 1-week cross? Let's look at the 3-day here. Okay, so you should be passing through the 20 line tomorrow. Most likely is this if it stays green. So yeah, things look pretty good for Cardano. Most likely this box is not going to be hit as long as if you close back below, there's a pretty good chance that it would be, like on a 3-day. But I mean, based on that last candle and everything, I really would think this would go up. Okay, let's look at ICP. ICP still doesn't really look that good. Week. Same kind of candle here, which is good, but the smaller time frames look kind of bearish. Hopefully we can bounce from where we're at now and then turn this back up. If not, you're probably just going to come back down to retest this level. I would expect us to kind of stay within this channel. If we fall out, probably getting bought back up. But again, this can fall. It can fall pretty low here. So, but then the next wave should be 3. So, again, anything under $10, I'm a buyer. So I just bought some a couple days ago, and you know, it moved up here like 600%. So it's had to consolidate over a period of time, and the next move from wherever it goes, it should be over 600%. Wave 3 should be bigger. It can't be the smallest wave. So from that level, 600 brings us to like $40. I think the last week, Aqua, for claiming your Aqua, this was the last payments that we got for it for free, so we are finally done with that, which is good. If XLM goes up, then Aqua is going to go up. It's part of that system. I think we could probably look. I mean, we can look at. We can see what HBAR is doing, but I think a lot of them closed their candles that were. That doesn't look as good as everything else. This might come a little bit lower. There's no pattern here. There's no flag. Well, let's actually look at a 2 week. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a flag or anything to look at this. So if this is going to come down, maybe revisit this 18 cents and then potentially down to 12. If this gets down to $12 or 12 cents again, this is where I would be buying this again. Last time I bought this was way down here, so I think that would just be a buy opportunity if it came down to test some level of support. So do your best to buy within this range, and then on pullbacks try to buy on a level of support. I don't like buying something that's ran up this much, because most of the time it's probably going to fall from that point, at least correct somewhat. Right, the volume does look pretty good here, but it looks like it's just gonna correct a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, once you broke through that, that's a little bit of a problem for a correction. Okay, let's look at XRP. That's a pretty bullish candle as well. You've got a bullish engulfing candle, which is good. You've got some bullish divergence on the weekly RSI. So hopefully it bounced from maybe about 250 or so, and then start to climb. And again, just like H-bar, I'm not a buyer of XRP at 260. The last buy I placed on XRP was, I think, at 60 cents. So I don't really like to chase price. Hopefully we'll end up in these boxes in the next month or so. Let's see. Nothing really special on the weekly, like stochastic RSI. I mean, you do have that bullish divergence, so it's telling me that you had bearish divergence and now you're getting bullish divergence, so it has a potential to continue to run. XLM. Still another bullish candle, but we need to get out of this flag. This thing can, if it doesn't break out of this flag, you can just see this continue to trend down until you hit some level of support. And just remember, it's gone up, 600%. So just like ICP went up 600% and then came back down quite low. If this came back down to 14 cents or so, I'd be a buyer right now. I'm waiting to sell this up here. The longer we trend sideways as well. I don't know if I've covered this. This is kind of how I've been thinking about stuff. Okay, since the Bitcoin dominance, it all has been relying on the Bitcoin dominance. So since the Bitcoin dominance hasn't fallen yet, and I expect it to fall, and we're getting really close, I don't think that was the top of wave 3. I think we have at least one more leg to the upside, and I think it's actually 5 is probably going to be bigger than, it might be bigger than 3. Okay. So, well, I'd say on some of these coins. Okay, now, if that was the top of wave 3, I would definitely think 5 would be bigger. Okay, but I still think that we're going to have 4 wave 3, a 5th wave to the upside. That's pretty big. Now, if that's wrong and we hit wave 3 up here, we would correct, and then wave 5 would be the biggest one. So you would see something like this, and then 5 would just go ballistic. And I don't think that's super realistic. I think that's less likely, because I think we would still have a run to the upside over the next month or so. Let's look at the total 2 market cap real quick. It probably closed really bullish too. Let's look at the 2 week. Yeah, I mean, you got a doji here too, so that's good. That's what you wanted to see. And then probably bouncing from here, that's pretty strong support, so that looks pretty good. This candle right here is the same, so this one here is the same as this one right here. So we were kind of sitting on top of this support level, came down, bounced, and then you started getting a big run up. But that second candle fell a little bit, right? It didn't go straight up. You really want to come down and test support and then bounce from there. You don't want to just go straight up, because if it doesn't test, normally it comes back down after it goes up to retest. Okay guys, I don't really have much else to cover. Let's see if this week does really well. That Bitcoin dominance closed was pretty important, but BTC is a little bit in trouble if it doesn't bounce as well. So it's just kind of just wait it out, right? Sometimes you just have to wait. Alright guys, you'll have a good week. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the group, and then I'll cover anything that happens throughout the week. I do not have any money to buy anymore. I bought ICP, and that's pretty much all I have. So y'all have a good week, and I'll talk to y'all on Thursday.